What is up, YouTube? It's your boy, YBP Gang, YBP Nation, YBP Boxing, YBP MMA. Coming at y'all on my last fight update. I fell asleep trying to make this video. Now it's the morning after we got this announcement. I think it got announced like yesterday, 7 p.m. I was making the other two videos. Kind of fell asleep trying to do this one, but that's besides the point. We got a really big matchup here. Obviously, this got rumored a couple months ago. So we heard rumblings about, initially it was going to be UMAR NURMAGOMEDOV versus Merab. Merab was down to do it, but obviously he has the hand injury. He's kind of out the picture with this and seems to be have solidified himself in that number one contender spot, like, next for the title. After, Aljo moves up or whatever happens with him. So then that leaves UMAR NURMAGOMEDOV without an opponent. So those rumblings about CORY SANDHAGEN getting that. CORY SANDHAGEN has expressed in a lot of times, a lot of media that he's willing to fight anyone. We saw this as he was willing to fight Merab. So that's a guy no one wants to fight. Jan did it, but definitely, if you give him like a set of opponents, like who we'd want to fight, like Merab's not one of them. So. And then to fight a guy like UMAR, too. Obviously, he has the NURMAGOMEDOV name attached to him. Big prospect, undefeated. But this really, as far as like elevating CORY SANDHAGEN to a title shot, it doesn't do much for him as much as it does for UMAR NURMAGOMEDOV. UMAR beats CORY, they might just throw him into a title shot or get him a number one contenders fight. If CORY wins this, it's not completely guaranteed. He might just fight the winner. You might just end up fighting the winner of Cejudo versus Chito Vera. So from that standpoint, it kind of sucks for CORY, but CORY's kind of that. I think of a guy who kind of like, he's almost like a BMF almost. You talk about a BMF. I was ranting before when the announcement came out that Gaethje and Poirier got the BMF belt. Like, I don't know, like. At this point, I don't even know what BMF really means, but I thought it meant just they'll fight anyone, anytime, anywhere. And, Dustin publicly ducked Beneil Dariush. I feel like Gaethje, pretty much fights everyone. But I'm thinking of like a RDA, people who are fighting people on short notice. That's what I mean. Like, so CORY SANDHAGEN's definitely a BMF. Obviously, he's a 135-pounder, but that's just what I think about when I think of a BMF. We saw Dana White allude to this in the announcement video, talking about, he's such a good guy for, fighting UMAR NURMAGOMEDOV, someone that no one wants to fight. Hopefully they give him a pay bump, all this stuff, because he has UMAR doesn't necessarily, deserve this. Or let me not say he doesn't deserve it, but because what does it mean to deserve something at this point in the UFC? But it's a really big step up. It's almost O'Malley-Jan-esque. Not quite the same, but Umar's, if we just get into the logistics of the fight, Umar's coming off of a big win versus Raoni Barcelos. He looked really good on the feet. I'd say out of all the NURMAGOMEDOVs, he's more of a striker. I don't think he has, the wrestling of, a Makhachev or a Khabib. We saw this, on the feet. He looked really good against Raoni Barcelos, got the knockout. He obviously has a ground game too, but I wouldn't say it's to the level of his counterparts or his peers. Maybe sort of like a Usman NURMAGOMEDOV or Saeed NURMAGOMEDOV, something like that. So, and then for CORY SANDHAGEN, he's just so good. You know what I mean? Good. He's rounding out his game. We saw in the Chito fight, working on his own wrestling. Really good striker. He just can't be touched on the feet. Really lanky, big for the division. So I think on the feet, CORY's going to get the better of him by far. You know what I mean? I just don't think. I think CORY's a top. He's up there as for strikers, pound for pound, best strikers in the UFC. There's Izzy, there's Pereira, there's Stephen Thompson. Leon would have to be somewhere there. CORY's there in the mix. Just pure striking all around. Kicks, striking, boxing, all that stuff. He's up there for sure. Look at guys like JDM, even though just his boxing alone is better than some of these guys' games that involve kicks. So, but I think CORY Sandhagen is definitely on that list. And for Umar to jump all the way to the elite side of the pool and face a guy like CORY Sandhagen with that good of striking, it's tough. It's tough to say. I don't know. So then now we're looking at, I think he's going to get kicked on the feet. So now we're looking at, can he utilize that wrestling? And I do worry, as we did see, I remember, I think it was Aljamain Sterling, Cejudo Fight Week, they showed that they had a free fight up. It was Aljo submitting CORY Sandhagen like the first round. So that wasn't good. That was, because if Umar has even like a slightly like enough wrestling, he could be able to like replicate some of the same stuff Aljo did. But, Aljo's Mr. Backpack, he's a lanky guy, probably not as easy as Aljo made it look. And like I said, Umar's not the wrestler that those guys are. So, and I mean, CORY's continuing to get better. We're seeing that. I feel like the Aljo fight was kind of like a blip in the past. Like, it was just a little setback, but he's getting better and improving in those areas, even shooting his own takedown. So I think this is too big of a step up for Umar Nurmagomedov. So I'm picking CORY Sandhagen by decision. Even by knockout, I mean, he could time some stuff, man. Like, he's really good on the feet. I think he's levels ahead of Umar. Even though I think Umar with that last performance showed that he won't get completely embarrassed. He kind of earned that fight with CORY Sandhagen with that knockout. But even still, I think his strike is just not up to par with CORY. Like I said, CORY's a top 5 striker in the entirety of the UFC. I'll argue anyone on that point. He's really good on the feet. And I think that's just going to be too much. I think he can defend and takedowns enough to where you keep it on the feet, keep it in his realm, and maybe get a knock. I'll choose CORY Sandhagen by 4th round TKO. That's what I'll go with. It's my early prediction for CORY Sandhagen versus Umar Nurmagomedov. Leave a like on the video, subscribe, turn on post notifications so y'all know when I'm about to drop. That's all I got for y'all today. Peace out. IBP.